Do you own a dog, cat, bird, or other pet? Did you know that many homeowners and renters policies don't cover animal or pet liability claims, so you may be held liable if an incident, accident, or claim occurs? At X Insurance, we provide customized liability insurance coverage for any animal or pet regardless of type, size, age, or bite history. X Insurance provides third-party liability coverage for injuries or property damage done to others by your pet. An X Insurance policy will fill the gaps in your homeowner's or renter's coverage and provide the protection you need for true peace of mind to protect your assets. X Insurance offers 30-plus years of professional experience, providing solutions for many types of specialty risks in all 50 states. If you own an ATV, electric scooter, golf cart, etc., then we've got you covered. Visit xinsurance.com or call 877-585-2853 today to learn more or to get a free quote.
Welcome to Welcome Home Doggy. I'm your host, Arianna Lasha, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Daniel Troppy, founder and photographer of YimbyGeorgia. Daniel, thank you so much for being here with us today. I know that you are so talented and skilled, so we just very thankful to have you here on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
So why don't you go ahead and tell us what is YimbyGeorgia? What all do you do?
YimbyGeorgia is an acronym, and it stands for Yes in My Backyard. I believe that homelessness is in all of our backyards. It's in every zip code and every area code in the country. It's everywhere. So we named it YimbyGeorgia, and we became a 501c3 in February before the pandemic hit.
So you guys are fairly new.
We are new.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I've been working at this for a while, but we didn't actually get the status until February of this year.
So tell us what Yimby does as a homeless nonprofit.
Mm-hmm. Our mission is to engage and encourage people from other towns, communities, cities, to become proactive when they run across somebody who is experiencing homelessness. You know, to maybe have a hygiene kit in their car, maybe an extra blanket or whatever, but just to give them ideas of how you can do your part. And so it's really an outreach. It's a community outreach. And we're just trying to get the message out that everybody can get involved with it.
Like you said, it's in everyone's community, so why not? It's not something that nobody is.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's in every small town. I grew up in a very tiny small town, and there are 2 people currently that are experiencing homelessness. And it's a population of under 10,000 people in nowhere land, South Texas. So it's a huge problem. And with the evictions that are really starting to come into our foreground here, we're seeing more of it. So,
well, I know you told me you got your start as an artist and then as a photographer. So how did that lead to the birth of YimbyGeorgia?
I started taking photography classes, I think, and it was in 2016, and I immediately knew I wanted to photograph people and portraits, do portraits, and I was automatically drawn to the homeless community.
Why the homeless?
Because I think no one can be experiencing homelessness and be a weak person. You have to be strong, and I kind of think that when you're experiencing that you know, if you're going to survive on the streets, you've got to be really tough and strong. And I thought that was I needed to investigate that. I was intrigued by that, and I really wanted to investigate that. And I really just immediately started photographing people. I always ask for permission. I always, I don't go up there with a camera in somebody's face. I'll start a conversation, and whatever, listen to their stories.
Build those connections.
You've got to build a connection. And then that may take time. I mean, there are people that I have been working with for a long time, and they're still not comfortable with me sticking a camera in their face and photographing them. And other people I can meet immediately, and they'll, yeah, I want to share my story. I want to be photographed. I don't, but it really is you've got to build that trust and that connection, and that I find really interesting. I love that part of it.
So you photograph people that you build these connections with, and then you hand them different products, hygiene kits. But what would you say the ultimate goal of YimbyGeorgia is? What's your mission?
Well, our mission is to somewhat, if we could figure out a way to eradicate homelessness, and we have 4 goals for our nonprofit. We want to do food trucks. We want to do shower and laundry trucks. I want to do a thrift store that in the back of the thrift store, we have social services available. You come in, you don't have a tent, we're going to give you a tent. You need a sleeping bag, we're going to give you the sleeping, we're going to give you whatever you need. But you need glasses or maybe dental care, or yes, you want housing, we're going to send you right into the back and let social workers help you. And that is the thing I'm most excited about. And then, of course, our 4th goal is to do tiny home communities. And I really want to focus on the tiny home communities on the grounds of churches. Mm-hmm. Put 4, 5, 6 tiny homes on the grounds of a whatever church, but those are the 4 goals that we want to accomplish.
And those are such big goals to hear that you just started in February of 2020. So any projected timeline on any of those?
Well, I'd love to be able to, next year, get the thrift store up and running. I think that's the most important one, because we would be able to put people to work. We would also have services available for people. We'll be able to have a real hands-on contact with people, and that's the first goal. And I really think we can do that, next year. And I didn't mention this, but since I'm a photographer and I've been collecting photographs and people's stories, I've got their stories written in, all these mini books, mm-hmm. and I want to do a book. I want to do a book that it'll help fundraise for Yimby. The proceeds will go back to our nonprofit, and we'll just keep it going. Keep greasing the wheel. We got to keep greasing the wheel. So.
Well, you need to let us know when your book is ready, and we'll have you right back on here.
I'd love that, and I don't know what that timeline will be, but really for 2021. The number 1 goal for us is to really get that thrift store up and running, and get one going, and do for the city of Atlanta. I would love to envision us having like 4 to 6 thrift stores available, and that would be incredible. And that's doable.
You've got
everything
the plans.
is doable.
You've got these plans, and you can make it happen.
Yeah, we just need funding.
Bringing it around to the doggy portion of Welcome Home Doggy, do you film the homeless with their dogs often?
I have run into probably about maybe three people since I've been doing that that had animals, that had dogs. And for the most part, and I don't know why that is, I don't run into that as often as I should. And and to be honest, I don't really run into a lot of. I see children with their a parent on the streets, but I see that not so much too. It's they're out there, and I know that there are people that are kind of vigilantes that go out with cars and trunkfuls of
mm-hmm.
cat food or dog food,
right.
or whatever, bowls, freshwater bowls, food bowls.
For the homeless community?
For the homeless community. But I rarely run into them. I have before, but it's not every day that I run into, somebody. But I can tell you that when There was a woman that we helped last winter, and she had a tiny little teacup dog, and her dog was freezing. It was just like shaking. I said, just wait. I ran to Target and Petco and looked for, sweaters and whatever, and grabbed all of that for her, a little tiny little dog blanket, and rushed right back to give that to her.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, people are homeless, but so are animals too. And just like people get cold and need to eat, animals do as well. So that's an important aspect to think about.
The few people that I have met that have animals, when I, had given them a bag of food and a bowl of, for water and food bowls and whatever they needed, all of them took exceptional care of their pets and made sure that they, when I would hand out food, they would make sure that their dog got fed first. And I saw that over and over and over again.
Wow.
They took care of their animals, and and that's very telling. I mean, it is that companionship that they need. It gives them comfort. It helps them. It helps their soul, I think.
Does YimbyGeorgia have any specific missions as far as animal welfare go, or do you think this is something that you're willing to explore or incorporate in your organization?
Definitely. We don't have anything on the table, but we're always up for new ideas and suggestions, and we'll help. I mean, if somebody, I get this all the time when people will message me on Facebook or our website and send me a message, and they'll say, oh, we saw this person over here and he had an animal and he's got a dog and whatever, can you help? Yeah, we'll help. We'll always help. And if I can't do it, I'll call up my supporters or donors and say, hey, or if you're in the neighborhood, go grab this, grab that, take it to them.
I was just going to say your willingness to help is very evident if you're willing to run to Target and Petco just to help for one woman with her dog.
Yeah, I think it's important. You don't want your animals. And winter is coming again. So, I really urge people to, again, take if you have a small little blanket, just a tiny little blanket or whatever, put that. If you have a doggy bed that you're not using, don't put that into a thrift store. Don't donate that to a thrift store. Put it in your car, and if you see somebody, you can pull it out and give it to them. It's just being mindful of somebody else's existence and being aware,
It's actually a really good point that I never thought about. I mean, yes, different organizations take donations, but why not give those donations firsthand?
Exactly, and we can all do that. We can all do that. And it's the same thing about our hygiene kits that we make.
I see you have some here. Why don't you go ahead and grab one and show us what's inside?
Well, I bought 3 hygiene kits today. We make one for men that we do. We have shaving cream and deodorant, razor, toothbrush. We always try to provide a drink, and I like giving drinks in a can, because there are a lot of homeless people out there that collect the tin cans or the aluminum cans and recycle that, and that is what gives them extra cash.
Right.
So you can go through and make, okay, so hold on, before I get out of control here, that's for men. We have one for a snack kit, and it's just filled with snack
protein and different snack bars.
Yes,
something easy.
Soft, and you want to make sure that when you buy like a protein bar or whatever, make sure that it's very soft, because people who are chronic homeless don't have access to dental care. So most of them are suffering from just bad teeth and missing teeth. So you've got to be real mindful of that, and we are. So you make sure that your power bars and all that are soft.
Well, crackers and granola bars too, that's like non-perishable items, so just stuff that's easy and you can keep with you at any time.
And always put like a canned drink in there, please. And then we do, for women, we have liners and tampons and deodorant. We put hygiene kits in here, and our hygiene kits have shaving cream, toothbrush, toothpaste. So it's a little bit of everything. And it's really, these are so simple for anyone to make. You're at home, you go through your bathroom closet, your hall closet, you find items that you have multiple items of, like if you go to the dentist, you go every 6 months, they'll give you a toothpaste, toothbrush, and dental floss, and that comes in a kit. Put that in there. You have you buy soap by bulk, take a bar of soap in there, put it in there.
It's like the little things that you can do to collect.
Anything that you have that, and there are no guidelines to making a hygiene kit. You can make it and be as creative as you want in your hygiene kits. You can put a little note in there. You can put a pen and paper in there. You can put anything, really. But go through and collect items, put them in a Ziploc baggie, and keep them in the back seat of your car, keep them in your glove box, keep them on your floorboard, wherever. But keep them. And when somebody approaches you at a stoplight or a traffic light, and they come up to your car, they approach you, you can hand them, if it's a man, you can hand them this and say, "I hope this helps you, sir." Or if it's a woman, "I hope this helps you, ma'am." And you hand it to them and look them in the eye.
Because they're people. They're people, right?
Make contact. You've got the first thing I always tell people is direct contact. Acknowledge them. Make sure that they feel like they're welcome and they're being seen and heard. They're not invisible. They're not invisible. They're humans. They're our brothers and sisters. They are our neighbors. And they just need help.
Well, the fact that you make these kits involving items that we all need as humans, that helps to humanize the homeless, and don't think of them as such a far or distant concept, like that couldn't happen to yourself.
Exactly. Most of us think that, I've heard this over and over and over again, this will never happen to me. Well, guess what? I have met and talked to people that have bachelor's degrees, master's degree, PhDs. So the tragedy, I believe, is that we live in a world where we are all one paycheck or two paychecks away from it. We're one medical disaster away from it. It could be a divorce. I know I just ran into a man the other day. He's 66 years old. His name is Henry. And Henry was married, and he was a plumber, had his own business, and his wife passed away, and his life just spiraled out of control. But he is not on drugs. He's not, an alcoholic or anything. It just happened. Life happened to him.
It's not something that you plan for.
No. So it's all walks of life today. It's all walks of life. I've recently have been helping, it's a couple, and they're in their mid-20s, and they just got evicted. So
due to the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, they lost their jobs. Everything happened. The rug is pulled out from under them, and it can happen to any one of us. That's why it's really important. I really believe the message of Yimby is engaging people, from whether you live in Peoria, Illinois, or you live in where I grew up in Nowhere Land, South Texas. You can do your part, get active, be proactive with homelessness, and when you are confronted with it, and make hygiene and the hygiene kits, but also make if you're a parent and you have I don't know if you have lots of children
even if they're grown up and you have extra supplies.
If you have extra backpacks. We all have extra backpacks, especially if you have children. Grab one of those and just start, put a mask in there, get a cap, get some hygiene products in there, get a nice little blanket in there, get, another cap, get some socks. Socks are so important. Oh my God, socks are so important. And
everyday items that we may take for granted.
Everyday item. And you know what? what toilet paper, body wipes, just anything. Grab them, put them together, put that in your car, and keep it with you. And you'll believe me, there will be a time, unfortunately, that somebody will need it, and you can actually step up and help.
Right.
And that's the empowering thing of it, is engaging people to take control of it and, just confront it,
Well, with the kits and the bags, you've definitely taught us in ways that we can help, but what do the day-to-day operations look like at Yimby? Like, what's your typical day like?
Oh gosh, they're all long days when you're launching and starting a nonprofit, but a lot of them are when I do a call to action on, like, if I need blankets or tents or whatever, I'll send out post it on Facebook. We need more tents. We're really going through them. I did that with blankets, and somebody called and said, would you like 3 boxes of blankets that came from Delta Airlines? Yeah, I'll take them.
Right.
There were 300 of them. I gave 1 box away. That's 100 blankets in less than a week. Just handing them out. We provide meals to people, so when we hand out meals, I'll hand them a nice meal and a blanket. And when we do a meal, we'll make a nice sandwich. We'll put all in paper. We're very mindful of not using too much plastic, but putting fresh fruit in there. I try to put a banana and an orange, a clementine in there, a fig bar, just a box of raisins, just food that I think people don't get all the time. It is a luxury. If you had $1 in your wallet and you went into a convenience store and you were like, God, I want to eat something healthy. Well, a banana is going to cost you a frickin' $1 at a convenience store.
Right.
Unfortunately, proper nutrition seems to be a little expensive for people who run a real tight, budget.
And speaking of expenses, the blankets were definitely a blessing to be able to have those as a donation, but sometimes buying different supplies, the price can add up on that. So how does Yimby operate financially?
Well, I tell you, we have an Amazon wish list, so you can go on our YimbyGeorgia.org website, click on the donation button, and there are 2 ways we have it set up, PayPal and then Amazon. So on Amazon, you click on and you can see all the items that we need, that we always need. But I have always loved going into thrift stores and shopping, thrifting. So I go into thrift stores and I look for, this came out of a Goodwill. This sleeping bag came out of a Goodwill. It was $4.99. So when I see sleeping bags or blankets in a thrift store and they're like $2 or whatever, I grab them all.
It's about knowing where to look.
Yeah. But they're there. But again, if you have an extra sleeping bag in your home, and a lot of people have extra sleeping bags, they save them for I don't know what, and then they never use them. So put that in your car. Because a sleeping bag, oh my God, I can't hand them out fast enough. I really can't hand them out fast enough. They go like, that and blankets.
So what are some of the ways that our viewers can help Yimby Georgia?
Well, again, they can go onto our website, YimbyGeorgia.org, and then click the donate button and figure out however way is best for them. If you do PayPal, you could do it one time, or you could set it up to it's a monthly donation, and whether you donate $5 or $10 or whatever, if you do it monthly, that's great. $10. If you donated $10 to us, $10 will buy us 10 tubes of toothpaste. It will buy us 10 containers of body wipes. It can buy us a thing of soap You can buy bars of soap for anywhere from 50 to 75 cents. So it adds up. You know, $10 here, $10, it all adds up. So those are really great ways. And again, if you can't do that, I strongly urge people to go in and start, you know, just create your own hygiene kits, your own snack food kits, and have them, you know, available for you to hand out.
Right. Why did you choose the homeless to be your subject for Yimby? Or just as a photographer, why focus on the homeless?
You know, I think that it was their strength and that intrigued me. You know, it's their strength. You really cannot be a weak person and survive the streets if you are experiencing homelessness. It's very hard. It's very tough out there. You know, most people sleep during the day and they're up at night, and that there's a good reason for that. Women tend to be, unfortunately, are more vulnerable, so they have more obstacles. And I always thought that I would rather sit down, and I have said this 100 times, and every time I say it, I mean it. I would rather sit down. There's a man that I really, really enjoy, and I look for him when I'm driving out, handing out like a meal or a sandwich or whatever, and I look for him. He hangs out downtown, and he's an older gentleman, and I always, if I see him, I'm always going to stop. But he has a story, and I think it's fascinating. So every time I see him, I'll ask him a question, and I'm, you know, building up. But I would rather sit down and talk to him any day of the week than if I had an opportunity to sit down with, I don't know, Brad Pitt or...
And why is that?
Angelina or who, you know, name it, whoever. I find them more interesting. I find them so much more interesting, and I really, truly, truly mean that. I would rather sit down and talk to them than people who, I don't know, I think in my opinion, they kind of live in a little bubble. You know, I know that they do great work, but they tend to live in a bubble, and I think reality is we're living in a different world today. And it really is a world that requires everybody to be hands-on and help. Because this is like, I always picture this like what's happening now with the influx of the, I'm seeing two types of people that are becoming homelessness. It's the young and it's the older. And we have a huge problem, and we have really got to battle it. We've got to win. It's like battling the corona. You got to, and if everybody did their part, one thing at a time, it would be it would just be a better world. It's the world I want to live in.
Organizations like Yimby are ways that we begin battling it, and having these conversations like on Welcome Home Doggy are ways that we begin battling it, because you never know who's going to see this, who's going to hear your story, who's going to want to get involved with your organization. So we thank you so much for being here with us today, Daniel.
Oh gosh, thank you for the time and the opportunity. Thank you for allowing us to raise awareness.
Of course, and I mean it. When you write your book and it's on Amazon bestseller, we're ready to have you back.
Thank you.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Visit our website, Welcome Home Doggy, to learn more about YimbyGeorgia, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Arianna Lasha. This is Welcome Home Doggy, and we'll see you next time.
Pet overpopulation is a national problem. Georgia has some of the highest euthanasia rates in the country, with an area the size of Maryland without basics like animal control, rescues, shelters, or even veterinarians. The Georgia Pet Foundation provides statewide spay-neuter grants to organizations to help decrease pet overpopulation. Do your part to help. Purchase a Georgia Pet Foundation spay-neuter tag through your local tag office, with proceeds going to support spay-neuter efforts in Georgia. Buy a tag, save a life.